to respect the international humanitarian law, to allow the access, but at the same time to make sure that we support all the efforts for the two-state solution and for the resumption of serious peace talks.
I think it was very strongly felt the unity on the message tonight, that the acknowledgement that Israel has the right to do everything possible, that the 7th of October will never happen again in the boundaries of international law and international humanitarian law, but that it has also the duty to do everything possible to protect civilian life. And this was very clear also in the European Council. If you look at the conclusions, they are explicit on that one. The absolute need that more humanitarian aid needs to reach Gaza, and the clear description of the different ways, whether it's a maritime corridor, the airdrops, but the land routes are the most important. And the under-delivering of humanitarian aid, the 500 trucks that I mentioned are not at all reached. I mean, it's way below that necessity of aid that has to come to Gaza. The unconditional release of hostages, very important topic in it, and very clearly also the European Council on the fact that we urge Israel to abstain from a full-scale invasion of Rafah because of the enormous suffering that would bring along.
It's getting very late, so we'll take 2 more questions and we'll wrap it up. So Jarno and then the colleague in front in white shirt.
Thank you. Jarno Hartikainen, Helsingin Sanomat. I'd like to ask, what kind of discussion did you have today on the initiative for joint borrowing to fund European defense, to fund the aid in Ukraine? The issue is very divisive, but did you sense any new openness among member states towards this idea? Thank you.
No, we had a very useful debate, because it was the occasion to listen to each other and to understand better what are the sensitivities on such a topic. But there is one certainty. All of us, we want to make decisions to have more financing for defense, for more European defense capabilities, and for more cooperation among the member states. There are various opinions about the Eurobonds. This is what you are referring to, I suppose, but there is clarity around the idea that the European Investment Bank has a more prominent role to play, and we have agreed that in the future we need to continue to work on various options that will allow to mobilize more financing in the future for strengthening the defense capabilities.
I think what was palpable in the room is that we had, as Charles Michel said, a very constructive debate on that one, and that the debate is at the beginning and not at its end.
I think you wanted the colleague in white shirt, yes. And then we wrap it up. Sorry.
Thomas Meyer, Der Standard. I have a question to President Michel concerning the conclusions on Middle East. If you read the text, you could have the impression that there's a lot of appeals to Israel, but you cannot find very much on the responsibility of Hamas, not only for the attacks in October, but on their role until today. Could you perhaps explain why this is like this? And if you allow another question to that, we hear that there have been heavy disputes between members of the European Council, especially Austria and Ireland, on that issue, and why it is so that one could have the impression that there's an equal footing between crimes of the Israeli Defense Force and Hamas. Thank you.
I don't share your interpretation. I don't share your assessment, and I guarantee you that we had a very serene and respectful debate, and we focused on what message we want to give and to decide all together. I repeat one more time that we condemn this terrible Hamas attack launched by Hamas against Israel, that in those conclusions we reiterate our previous conclusions from October last year, a few days after this attack launched by Hamas. And I think that these conclusions, it reflects our will to send a very powerful message that we do not have double standards, that we support international law, that we condemn Hamas, which is a terrorist organization, and that we are determined to try to play an effective role to support the two-state solution, because what we want, what we hope, this is two peoples living side by side in peace, in security, and with a mutual recognition. This is what we hope for the future.
Thank you very much. We wrap up the press conference. Have a good evening.
Thank you.